Hello, welcome back or welcome to the channel. I am Simnity ASMR. Today we are going to be doing another guided story visualization video. My hair looks like a mop right now. It's wet, but I don't know. I tried some styling product and it just looks like it's like curly Severus Snape. But it's like a bedtime where I'm at, so I'm not gonna change it. This is but anyways, so this is gonna be a continuation of the story that I've done in the last two videos, but you don't have to have seen them for this one to make sense. It's just like they connect to each other, but it's not like yeah, you don't have to have seen it. I'm gonna do like a quick synopsis of where we are so far. Also, it's a little bit cold, so if a blanket just like appears on me at any point, that's what's happening. Alright, let's just get into it. So up until this point, what's happened in the story is that you were at a gas station. You found this mysterious wooden door with emerald evergreen branches around it, and you went through it and you found like this winter wonderland kind of place, and you met talking animals there, and you had like a really nice meal. You had a really nice sleep in the hotel there. It's like a lodge hotel. And then the next day you sat down with this sort of wooden creature with sort of made of bark and moss and little clovers, and you guys talked a little bit about where you are. Her name's Melinda. She told you that the world itself is a place that people and animals can come to when they need a break from the pacing and the crazy hustle of the outside world, when everything's too fast and you can't catch up. It's where people and animals go to take a break. And it's like a secret that's like been passed down in generations on how to get there. So usually people like will actually go there on purpose, but you ended up there because of this door. And then you go ice skating with some dear friends, Claudius, Benjamin, Rory, and I wrote it down. and Justine. And then you came back and had dinner, and now Justine is going to show you the library. So you are sitting, this is where we left off, you're sitting at a fireplace, you've just been skating, and then you had like your favorite dinner, and so you're just like cozy and warm, but you're not really ready to go to bed yet. So Justine comes up to you and is like, are you ready to go see the library? So you say yes, and you get up and you go and walk with her over to a set of doors that is kind of next to the staircase. So the staircase is kind of in the middle, and then off to the side on the wall there is like another set of doors, and it's kind of doesn't call your attention. It's not like grand doors. So you go into the doors, and when you walk into the library, it's very dimly lit. There are some candles lighting it up. You can't really see too much, and Justine says, I don't see the librarian here. I'm gonna go see if I can try and find her, because she's not always out and about in the library. So just wait here, I'll go and find her. You can look around if you want. And you say, okay, sure. And so you start looking around, and you see close to the middle of the room, or what you can see, because behind there's like a bunch of bookshelves, but in front of the bookshelves there's like, you can tell it's sort of an open area. You can see sort of dimly lit kind of tables, cushiony soft armchairs, and you can see this sort of big, appears to be the librarian desk in sort of the middle of the front part. So you go up to the desk because there is a glowing blue box on the desk, and as you get closer you realize that it's a fish tank. and it's full of water. And you go up to the fish tank, and there's a fish in it. It is like a kind of like just a nondescript fish. It's about this big. It looks like a lake fish kind of a thing, and you are just kind of peering at the fish and the habitat it has. It has stones. It has kind of like seaweed in there. It has like some like lichen kind of algae things growing on the stones. And as you're looking at it, the fish goes to you, "Hey, can I help you with something?" And you're like, "Oh my gosh, well, you thought about saying that you didn't realize that it could talk, but then you realize that might be a little insulting because you already know that animals can talk, so you didn't want to admit to the fish that it didn't occur to you that it could talk. So you say, "Oh, I thought you were asleep. Sorry about that." And the fish says, "Well, I do sleep with my eyes open, so I can see how you would have made that assumption. Are you looking for the librarian?" And you say, "Yeah, actually, my friend Justine is looking for her." And the fish says, "Oh, cool, yeah, I'm sure she'll find her. Those two are friends. Well, welcome to the library, I guess. I live here. This is my home. I'm kind of the librarian's pet." And you say, "Oh, like, is that, like, do you want to be the pet, or do you ever miss, like, the lake, or are you just kind of visiting?" And the fish is like, "You ask a lot of questions." And you say, "Sorry, I just don't really understand, like, a lot about this world." And the fish says, "That's actually totally fine. I've had humans say weirder things, so you're fine. I'm from the Big Lake. I don't know if you've seen it yet. No one usually goes there in the wintertime because it's not frozen enough to skate on like the pond is, but it's just too cold for anything fun. In the summertime is when it gets really fun. But I didn't really fit in there. I just was sort of, not really, no one was ever mean to me, but it just wasn't my world. And I heard about the library because the librarian sometimes would hang out at the lake, and I just always wanted to come see it, and now that I've seen it, I like it, so I live here." And you say, "Oh, that's really cool. So do you like to read?" And the fish says, "Well, the librarian's actually teaching me how to read. I don't really know how to read because it's not really an applicable skill for most fish, but we can actually do it. So she's been showing me pages through the glass, and I've been reading. The glass is actually great because it magnifies all the words. So yeah." And as you guys are talking, you hear from behind you Justine's voice, and she says, "Hey, I found the librarian." And before you turn around, the lights in the library sort of rise up. The light level rises up, so it brightens in there until it gets to like a comfortable light level. So it's still like warm light, not super bright, but it's definitely enough light to, for example, read with. And you turn around, and you are a little caught off guard by what you see. Like, your eyes don't really know what to gravitate towards, because you see Justine and she looks normal. Looks like the normal deer that you just were talking to. But next to her is a creature. It is not human, it's not an animal, but unlike the wooden kitchen lady creature, Melinda, it does have a humanoid shape. It has a sort of head/face, and it has arms, and it's sort of a body, and it's not walking, it's floating. And it is made out of amethyst, and the face area, the amethyst is like glowing from the inside. And you say, "Hi," and you introduce yourself because you're very polite. And the amethyst creature says, "Hi, welcome to the library. You're new. What are you interested in? I have pretty much any type of book you could want. I heard you're Justine's friend. You guys, that's really cool. Me and Justine are friends. So, do you have anything you're looking for specifically?" "My name is Asha, by the way." And you say, "Oh, Hi, Asha. Nice to meet you. I guess I'm just here to check the library out. And she says, oh, awesome. Well, let me show you around. I'll show you like the sections that we have, and then I'll pull out some stuff that maybe you'd be interested in. So you guys turn back to like face the main library, and now that it's all lit up, you see that there are rows of shelves, and they're arranged a little bit oddly, so they're not in straight lines all the way back. It's kind of like a sort of the front row is like shelf, shelf, shelf. They're all straight, but then behind it, it's just a little offset, and then behind it, it's like there's only shelves on the right side, and then it's just like a little bit eclectic, but it's not like maze-like. It's not confusing. And on the walls, you can see that the candles and the lighting are all surrounded by leaves, and like they're kind of like dark green leaves. And there is some ivy growing on the ceiling, just kind of some little ivy tendrils hang down, and like there's like this carpet of ivy on the ceiling, but you can see through it to like the stone ceiling. And the shelves are made of like darkish wood, and there's so many colorful books all over the shelves. They're super full of books. And just beyond the seating area in the front with the tables and the squishy chairs, you can see more armchairs kind of placed in the sort of clearings where there's no shelves, and there's beanbag chairs as well, and lots of pillows and blankets, and there's like stacks of folded blankets, and there's stuffed animals as well, and there's like little stuffed human dolls. Which, like, I think that makes sense. So Asha takes you around the shelf, and Justine is following you guys as well, and she shows you they have like all the normal genres of books, and then she starts getting to other sections. So she comes to a section and she goes, here is a plant magic section, and then here is a animal magic section, and here's a human magic section. And here's a section about the whole section about how this world works. And here's a section about sports. And here's a section about history, including history of this place. And as you go along, Justine is also pointing out like which sections are her favorites as well. So she really likes the fiction, she really likes the sci-fi, and she really likes the history of this world section. Then Asha turns to you and says, the good thing also is that I have a ton of books up here, so I'm like a walking brain book. and you say, oh, well, maybe you could answer some of the questions I have? And she says, yeah, absolutely, I would love to. Tell me what you're wondering. And so you say, I've just been really curious about the other humans and how they get here. And Asha says, well, you'll definitely meet some soon. I think probably next week there's gonna be more. But let me just, I guess, tell you some basic stuff. And I can give you books too if you want about this, for if you want to read later. And I have some really good fiction recommendations. I'll give you a couple of those as well, just if you have time to read them. And so Asha starts by saying, I'm actually really interested in how you came here, because that's, at least as far as I know, never happened before. So if you get the chance later, I'd be interested to just hear your version of events, and I'll probably write that down, and I'm somewhat of an author myself, so I might write a book about you, which, if you're up for that. But let me tell you what normally happens. So what normally happens is that either people find out from family members, or they find literature, books or scrolls that describe how to come here, and it's not something that can be communicated to other people. So if someone tries to talk about it out loud, it just doesn't work, and you can't always share the materials with someone. They have to sort of find it on their own, which people have been saying is a little frustrating, and I totally get that. So I don't know exactly who makes the rules or why, but yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot. But yeah, so basically people, there's different ways that people come here, but it usually involves coming through one of those little spaces that you wouldn't think of. You know, they just are a little bit, they're like portals, like the places where you lose your socks or the gap under your couch, those little spaces. If you've ever heard of the Irish folklore creatures called Nissa, they squeeze through those spaces and they have these little pockets of reality. It's almost similar concept, similar kind of space in the way that the travel takes place, but it's separate from Nissas. It doesn't bother them. So you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. So how do you do it? And Asha says, well, like I said, it does kind of depend. So some people, they just need to read a passage from one of the books they've received and just be near one of those spaces. Some people have spells that are passed down through families. I think maybe the question you're asking me is, if you go home, how do you come back? So I can definitely give you some books on that. Once you're here, the literature is available to everyone, so you don't have to find it in some, the 300-year-old attic. I can just give you the books and you can look it up, and once people arrive here, you can talk to them about what they do and see what would work best for you. But I just feel like that question's on your mind, is will you be able to come back? And I think you will. And you were thinking that, sort of. You didn't realize it fully, but you were. So you thank Asha for getting ahead of that for you and for answering that question. And you take the book recommendations that she gives you. She gives you like 3 books on the history of the place, the magic, and then one of those books, it has some spells and ways to get to the place, to the world. And then she gives you 3 fiction recommendations that she's very passionate about, and Justine is also very passionate about one of them and highly, highly recommends it. So, and you take the books from her, and as you're turning to leave the checkout desk at the library, Asha says, oh, wait, actually, it's just about family reading time. If you want to stick around, we do a reading circle for all the youngsters. And you're like, not super sure, because it sounds like a social thing, and you don't know most of the animals, but you decide, why not? So you sit down, and you and Asha and Justine all help to arrange the armchairs and beanbag chairs into a circle in the biggest part of the front of the library. And she pulls out some books, some children's books, and there's ones about friendship, obviously. There's a book about cooking and how cooking brings people together, and she shows you some books as well. So you pick out one about fun winter activities, you pick out one about little goblins making shoes, and you pick out another one about puppies learning how to bake. And then the animals start coming in. So there's mice, and there are some squirrels and chipmunks, and even some birds come in, some crows and some other winter birds. And there's even like little flies that come in, but they don't bother anyone. They don't go in anyone's face. They just sit on like a little ledge of one armchair. And then there's plenty of deer that come in as well, and there's even some bears, and they look very tired. And you ask Justine, I thought bears hibernated in the winter, but Justine says they do, but they don't sleep the entire winter. So they wake up to eat, and sometimes if they're still awake for story time, they'll take their little cubs in here for story time. So as you watch, like, all of the animal families come in, so there's little cubs everywhere, and little baby deer, little fawns. There's baby rabbits that are like huddled in little groups, snuggling with each other, waiting for the stories. Just all kinds of little baby animals. You see the pregnant mouse you met earlier, and she's like sitting there, and she's probably like so excited for when she's gonna bring her little mouse babies to story time. So Asha starts reading the books, and she has the most beautiful reading voice. It's very calm, and it just fills you with this like sense of peace and just happiness and calm. It's almost like it's a little bit magic, and you just feel really just peaceful and tranquil, and you feel like everything is just okay. Like everything is going to be okay. And the animals around you start getting sleepy, and they start getting like snuggly with their little families and their little siblings, and they start falling asleep or leaning on their parents. And then as Asha finishes the last book, the parents either will walk out with their little babies or they'll carry them. And so the mama bear is like holding her baby bear, and he's like snoring. And so they all sort of trickle out, and then you follow as well to go back up to your room. And in your room, you take a super, super nice, like very cleaning and refreshing, cozy nighttime shower. The shower head has settings where it emits extra steam that you can have scented. So you do like a vanilla mint scented steam, and the soap is so like foamy and bubbly. It just makes so many bubbles, and you feel like super, super clean, but not like squeaky. Like you're like moisturized. And there's some scrubs. There's a chocolate scrub which you use, and it smells just like real chocolate. And then there's a strawberry lotion that you put on afterwards that just like, you just feel like a cloud of softness. And then your cloud self wafts over to the closet, and you put on the most comfortable pajamas, your favorite kind of pajamas, and you lay in bed and you start reading one of the books. And as you're reading one of the books, you come across a passage that says Magical Pastimes of Humans. And as you're reading the passage, you realize that at least while you're in this world, you can do some magic. So that's very exciting. And you're reading it, and you're not sure really at all what you're doing, but you decide just before you go to bed to try a little something out. So the first sort of spell that you encounter in the book is it's called How to Produce Pleasing Visual Effects from the Palm. And that's very vague. But the first section of it describes how to make a light appear in your palm. So you just have to think of a color, your favorite color if you want, or any color, and just think of that color, picture that color, even try to imagine what the color feels like. And then hold out your palm with your eyes closed. Imagine the color appearing in your palm. And as you're imagining it, you're sort of feeling like a warmth in your palm. And you're imagining the color in your palm, and you're imagining it. And then the book tells you to pick a magic word. A magic word that works for you, that you like, that you would want to be your magic word. So you have your eyes closed, you're holding out your palm, and you say your magic word, and then the light appears in your palm, and it's glowing, it's a little bit sparkly, and it's just like this sort of colored like wisp kind of, and it's like, yeah, like a little bit smoky, a little bit sparkly, and you just look at it in your hand, you're like, it's just so beautiful. And then you are super tired after that, and you said you probably shouldn't just randomly mess around with more magic. So you just go to bed, you put on a really nice TV show on the TV, your favorite show, or like a really good falling asleep show. And you just get super cozy and curled up, and it's like the comfiest bed ever, obviously. So you get super cozy, super curled up, and you fall asleep, and you have very sweet, peaceful dreams. Alright, that is all the time that I have for today. We just like take off my cape like a professor at Hogwarts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. These ones are so fun to make. I usually just like make the story up as I go, so I don't know if maybe like having some type of plan beforehand would be better, but yeah, I'm liking just making it up for now and just seeing like what happens. I had a couple of little ideas beforehand of like I really wanted to do like the library and that kind of thing, but yeah, let me know if you guys like this one. If you want to see more, I think ideally I would probably do these like every other Thursday. That's like my thought, but yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really appreciate you being here. These are like some of my favorite ones to make, so I love that people have been liking these. And if this one wasn't like, if it wasn't that good, like please let me know. I can do different stories, I can, you know, change stuff. But yeah, thank you again so much for being here. If you are going to sleep, I hope that you are feeling more relaxed, ready for sleep, and more calm. I hope you have an awesome sleep with very peaceful dreams and are refreshed. And if you are getting stuff done, I hope that you are able to focus, get everything done you want. And if you don't, I hope you don't beat yourself up about it, because that is very important. And above all else, I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your day/night. Bye.